How do you shock readers with an awesome plot twist while also making them think, of course, it all makes sense now? That's what we're going to talk about in this video. This is part 2 of how to write plot twists that don't feel cheap and unsatisfying. So if you haven't watched part 1, go watch that video first because I talk about why most plot twists fail, how to build a strong setup, and what you need to do to write a satisfying payoff or reveal, including several tips and techniques that you can implement into your own writing. In this video, part 2, we're going to talk about how to balance the surprise of your plot twist with consistent internal logic, the different kinds of storytelling logic that exist, and a 7-step framework that you can follow if you'd like to use it in your own story. If you're new here, my name is Brianna and I post videos every Sunday that help you become a better writer. I also make easy to use writing workbooks that help you build and outline your novel from start to finish, so if you're interested, check them out in my Etsy shop, Planner Palette Co, linked in the description below. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel. So let's start with the tricky part, balancing surprise with internal logic. This is where even experienced writers can struggle because these two goals can often seem contradictory. How do you give readers that shock factor while also making all the pieces click in a way that feels logical and inevitable? The answer lies in understanding the difference between logic and predictability. Your story needs to follow logical rules, those being the rules that you've established for your world, your characters, and your magic system or technology or whatever powers your narrative. But logic does not mean predictability. You can take readers in an unexpected direction while still following a logical path. So to break it down, your story operates on several kinds of logic. The first being world logic, which is the rules of your setting. If you establish that magic requires a cost, then you can't suddenly have cost-free magic save the day. If you establish that dragons can't be killed by conventional weapons, you can't have your protagonist slay one with a regular sword unless you've explained why this particular sword is different, which then makes it not a regular sword. Then you have character logic, which is the consistent psychological reality of your characters. People can surprise us, but they can't act completely out of character without explanation. If your sweet, gentle protagonist suddenly murders someone in cold blood, readers will question you as the writer unless you've shown the psychological journey that led them there. Then you have plot logic, which are the causes and effects that progress your plot. Events need to follow from previous events. If A happens, then B usually logically happens, even if readers expected C to follow it. The key is that readers can trace the path from A to B in retrospect, even if they didn't see it coming in the moment. And then you have thematic logic, which are the deeper truths that your story is exploring. If your story is about the corrupting influence of power, then your twist should somehow engage with that theme rather than undercutting it. The genius of a great plot twist is that it upholds all of these types of logic while still catching the readers off guard. And it does so through misdirection rather than dishonesty. That's because misdirection is not the same thing as lying to readers. Lying is saying the character walked into the empty room, when actually there was someone hiding in the room, but you just chose to say that it was empty for no reason other than that you wanted shock factor. Misdirection is saying the character walked into the room and then letting readers assume it's empty because why wouldn't it be? You didn't lie, you just let readers make an assumption and didn't correct them. In N.K. Jemisin's The 5th Season, there's a reveal about the identity of one of the characters when the entire book has been leading you to assume something about the timeline and the relationship between the different point of view storylines. Jemisin never lies to you. She never says anything explicitly false, but she structures the narrative in a way that makes you assume a certain chronology and certain connections, and when you realize you were wrong, you can go back and see that actually every single piece of information was technically accurate. You just interpreted it differently than it actually was. And that's the gold standard. Misdirection through narrative structure, through what you choose to emphasize, and through the assumptions that readers naturally make. So how do you achieve this balance in your own story? First, you want to know your story's rules and then never break them, unless for an absolutely specific reason. And I'm serious about this. Write them down if you have to. What are the limitations of your magic system? What are your character's psychological boundaries? What are the established facts of your world? Your twist can subvert expectations, but it cannot and should not break your own established rules unless you have a very particular reason for doing so. Otherwise, your readers will feel cheated. Second, use dramatic irony carefully. Dramatic irony is when readers know something that the characters don't. And this can be a powerful tool for building tension, but be careful not to make your characters look stupid. If readers can see an obvious solution that characters keep missing, it doesn't make the characters look complex. It makes them look dumb and makes you look like you're manipulating them. Third, test your twist with the reread test. Imagine a reader going back into your story already knowing the twist. Do earlier scenes take on new meaning? Do character behaviors that seem odd suddenly make sense? Can readers spot the clues that you planted? If the answer is yes, then your twist is logically sound. If earlier scenes contradict your twist, or if there's no trace of it anywhere in the setup, then you've got a problem. Fourth, you need to distinguish between I didn't see that coming and that doesn't make sense. The first is a good twist, the second is a plot hole. So when you have readers like beta readers or family or friends who are reading your earlier drafts of your book to critique them, have them specifically look at your twist for logical consistency. And fifth, make sure that your character's actions drive the plot, not just your need for the twist. And this is huge. Never have a character do something out of character purely because you need them to in order for your plot twist to work. Instead, make sure your twist emerges organically from who these characters are and what they want. So let me give you a weak example versus a strong example. So let's say your protagonist's best friend has been secretly working for the villain the entire time. However, you've spent 20 chapters showing how loyal, honest, and trustworthy this friend is. They've had multiple opportunities to portray the protagonist and actively chose not to. They've risked their life for the protagonist. They've shared deep emotional moments. And then suddenly, in chapter 21, they're revealed as a traitor. And the only explanation is I was fooling you the entire time. This doesn't work because it violates character logic. You can't spend an entire book proving that someone is trustworthy and then just announce that they're not and expect readers to accept it. If the friend was secretly a traitor, there needs to be cracks in the facade, moments of hesitation, things they conveniently didn't see or know, actions that made sense at the time but look suspicious in hindsight. You need that middle layer, the place where the twist exists in the gray area between what seemed to be happening and what was actually happening. So to strengthen this example, we can have the same thing. Your protagonist's best friend has been secretly working for the villain the entire time, but you've seeded small inconsistencies throughout the story. Maybe they were always the one suggesting plans that, while they worked out, happened to lead the group toward places that the villain wanted them to go. Or they had information that they shouldn't have had but explained it away convincingly. Maybe they were protective of the protagonist, but in a way that also isolated the protagonist from other allies. Maybe they had moments where their mask slipped, like a look of guilt or a comment that didn't quite land right. But in the context of the scene, it seemed like something else. So now when the betrayal is revealed, readers can look back and see that there was actually a pattern. The friend wasn't lying about their feelings, they really did care about the protagonist, which is why the betrayal was so hard for them and why they kept making mistakes. The twist works because it respects character logic, which is that people are complex and have conflicting motivations. It also respects plot logic, which is that their actions all make sense from their perspective, and also respects emotional logic, which is that the pain of the betrayal is earned because we believed in the friendship and parts of it were real. This is what Patrick Rothfuss does really well in the Kingkiller Chronicle. Characters have hidden depths and secret motivations, but when those are revealed, you can trace them back through the entire narrative. Denna's behavior, Bast's actions, even Kvotha's own unreliable narration, it all holds together because Rothfuss has thought through the logic of each character's perspectives and motivations. So the ultimate test becomes, after your twist is revealed, can a reader go back through your story and find that it makes more sense, not less? Does the twist add a layer of meaning and complexity, or does it just confuse things? If it's the former, you've nailed it. If it's the latter, then you need to rework either the twist or the setup. So now you understand the theory. You know that you need setup, you need a satisfying payoff, and you need to balance the surprise of the reveal with internal logic. But how do you actually implement this into your own writing? Here's a framework you can follow. You want to start with character motivation. So your twist should emerge from your character's psychology, not from your desire to shock the readers. Ask yourself, what does this character truly want? What are they afraid of? What would they do to get what they want or avoid what they fear? And then let the twist grow organically from those answers. Step 2 is to identify the before and after versions of your story. Before the twist is revealed, readers understand the story one way. After the twist, they understand it differently. So what you want to do is map out both versions. What does the reader think is happening before the twist? And then what is actually happening underneath? Step 3 is to reverse engineer your breadcrumbs. Once you know your twist, work backward. What clues need to exist for the twist to feel inevitable? And make a list of them. Then figure out where and how to plant each clue throughout your story. But remember that they also need to serve the story in the moment, not just point to the twist. Step 4, you want to layer in different types of foreshadowing. Use dialogue, internal thought, environmental details, character behavior, and narrative structure. The more dimensions your foreshadowing has, the more solid your foundation becomes. Your 5th step is to create supporting evidence that can point to multiple conclusions. Not every clue should point directly at your twist. Some clues should be ambiguous. Some clues should support red herrings. This helps create the uncertainty that makes the twist surprising, even if it's inevitable. Step 6 is to test the emotional weight. When this twist is revealed, will readers feel something? Will it change their understanding of a character that they care about? Will it raise the stakes? Will it complicate relationships? And then the final 7th step is to plan the aftermath. That's because the twist isn't the end, but rather the beginning of a new understanding. How will characters react? How will relationships change? How will the remaining plot be affected? Make sure you give this enough space to breathe and develop. Now, the thing about writing plot twists is that your first attempt probably won't be perfect, and that's okay. Plot twists usually require at least 2 drafts. One to write the basic story and figure out the twist yourself, and then a second draft to properly go back and seed all of the clues. Sometimes you'll realize your twist doesn't actually work and you need to adjust it. Sometimes you'll realize you over-explained and you need to trust your readers more. Sometimes you'll find that you need more setup than you thought. That's all part of the process. The initial draft gets the idea down, the revision draft makes the idea sing. That said, don't be afraid to cut or change a twist if it's not serving your story. Sometimes we fall in love with an idea, but if it doesn't fit within the logic of the world we've built or the characters we've developed, it's usually better to cut it than to force it, unless you can find a workaround for it. Your story's integrity is more important than any single plot point, no matter how clever. So there you have it, the architecture of plot twists that don't feel cheap. Set up your breadcrumbs early and consistently, deliver the payoff at the right moment with both intellectual surprise and emotional resonance, balance the shock factor with logical consistency, and always let your twist emerge from characters rather than from your desire to shock the readers. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, you might want to watch this one next. And tell me, what's one plot twist that absolutely floored you, and why do you think it works so well? Until the next chapter.